Hey there. I'm Christy from the Twisted Fish Yoga Studio here in Port Dover, Ontario. And we're here in our gorgeous space, and you're alone with me right now, as most of us are practicing some social distancing at this time to keep people around us safe, as well as our own and ourselves. I was listening this morning actually to a couple people on the radio on CBC who were discussing kind of things that we can do to help not just be calm, but to stay present right now. And yoga is one of those things that can help us pay attention to our breath, to be mindful of what we're doing, to be present with our own selves so that we can actually be present and calm with the people around us. And that's what we do around here. We just help you breathe. And remember, as we're moving through the practice today, that as long as you're not turning blue, you're getting it right. I will direct with breath and movement. You can find us on our website at www.twistedfish.ca. We will be putting a couple things out to help you in this time of extra stress. And if you are not on our email newsletter yet, we'll be sending some things out, kind of a yoga first aid kit, really, that you can tuck in your back pocket and be able to practice at home and even with family in your own space and time when you need a little extra space and time in your head and your heart. So we're going to get started with what we call a practical yoga practice around here, meaning that I'm going to lead you from the ground up. I'm going to give you every opportunity to keep it down and low and slow, or to pick things up a little bit. If you do have a strap, they're always helpful just to make your arms and legs a little bit longer. If you don't have a strap, a tie or even a sock will do. And blocks are helpful, but I've also found in a pinch, a good strong water bottle or a teacup will do when you just need a little extra balance and a little extra space. So take a moment and roll out your mat and get comfortable. And we'll start this from the ground up. So as you come down to the ground, if you're like me and your back's a little kinky today, and not in a good way, you want to bend your knees, walk your feet toward the outer edges of your mat, and let your lower back just settle into the ground. You can even lift your tail a little bit to extend that. If you are feeling more comfortable in your body, you're welcome to extend your legs all of the way out and just bring your arms to a comfortable distance beside your body. The time that we take at the very beginning of a practice to check in with ourselves takes us beyond the physical. It acknowledges that we are more than just our physical bodies. We're our minds, we're our spirits, and we're paying attention and giving care to all of the levels of our being. So just checking in first with the Annamaya Kosha, with the world of your body, noticing any sensation, any feeling in your body, and trying to notice it without judgment of whether it's good or bad. It's just a story that your body's telling in this moment in space and time. And that story is going to change with every breath that you take. So we practice not getting too attached to it. And then noticing your natural breath. Our breath is an incredible barometer of how highly keyed our nervous systems are. In times of stress, our breath tends to go short and high in our chest, causing our bodies and our minds to go into fight, flight, or freeze. And so when we're able to steady the breath, to draw it in more deeply, to release it more completely, it has a positive effect, not just on our cardiovascular system, but on the entire internal system of our bodies, from our immune systems, to our hormonal systems, to the endocrine system, helping to bring balance. So as your breath begins to drop into your body more naturally, just consciously beginning to steady your breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And checking in with the world of your mind, the Manamaya Kosha, a place of thought, of wisdom, of intellect, and even intuition. And right now, more than many times, we are globally dealing with more stress, not necessarily good stress. And when we're able to calm our breath, the fluctuations of our mind calm more easily. Knowing that we can direct how our brains work a little bit with the power of intention. I want to invite you into that space of intention. And if heart's intention is important to you today, maybe even bringing a hand into your heart space. Or if you're like me and your head is all over the place today, maybe bring a hand even to kind of that third eye center, to one of the uppermost chakras, bringing your head and your heart together at this time. And taking a deep breath into being present, to being present with yourself, to being present with this practice and your breath. Just taking a really deep breath into being here now. And you can bring your hands back down beside your body. Or if you're feeling a little less than connected to yourself today, a little frazzled, and having a hard time bringing your head into this space, bring one hand to your upper chest and one hand to your lower belly. And just focusing in on your breath for a few moments, inhaling so deeply that your belly rises, rib cage expands, and the top of your chest lifts. And as you exhale smoothly out through your nostrils, chest lowers, rib cage softens, and belly lowers. Just taking a couple more deep, full breaths, just like this, like you're filling up a balloon from the bottom all the way up to the top, and then emptying that balloon from the top all the way back down to the bottom. Take one more full, deep, complete breath. And follow it all of the way out. And as you feel ready, bring your knees in towards your belly. You can bring your hands to the tops of your kneecaps or just to the outer edges of your thighs, and letting your legs be really heavy so your hands are doing the work and beginning to draw circles with your knees. So essentially, we're just really starting to iron out the lower back to notice where sensation is in the body, tender spots, places that feel strong and available. And you can keep those circles really little and slow, remembering that the slower you go, the more deeply you feel. Or you can begin to grow them a little bit bigger and rounder and softer. And just slowly winding back into your center line and beginning to draw your circles in the other direction. So again, beginning with the tiny little circles so that your body weight sits heavy into the ground, creating a deeper connection, but also a massaging-like sensation in your body. We're simply not getting enough touch these days. So sometimes you have to take massage into your own hands or your back. When you're ready, drawing all the way back into your center line, keep your right knee drawn in towards your belly and just bring your left foot down to the ground. If your back feels strong, lengthen your left leg out all of the way for a sweet passive stretch through the front of your left thigh. Taking one more breath here. And then just switching sides to minimize strain on your lower back. Bring your left foot in and knee in towards your belly, and then bringing your right foot down to the ground. possibly lengthening your right leg out to the floor. And again, just remind it to be soft and heavy. Taking one more full breath here. And then bringing your right knee back in to meet your left. We're going to make our way into a happy baby pose. Just dropping your knees down towards your armpits. Try to keep your lower back in contact with the ground as much as possible so we begin to isolate into your hips a bit more. You can stay here just gently rocking a little bit from side to side, or take it into a full happy baby, stacking your ankles on top of your knees. You want to make sure that you're taking hold of your thighs, your calves, or even your big toes, but with as little strain on your neck and shoulders as possible. If you find yourself kind of like overreaching here to catch hold of your toes, just bring your hands further down. And then as you gently draw down with the strength of your upper body, press up with the strength of your lower body, creating that dual action. And then just gently rocking a little bit from side to side. As you bring your right foot in towards your groin, lengthen your left leg out and say hi to your hamstrings. And then bending your left knee, bring your left foot back in towards your buttock and lengthen your right leg out. And then really gently and sweetly warming into that back line of your body. And taking one or two more times to each side. I'm moving slow. You might move more quickly today. As you complete your next time on the left side, just coming back into your center line, bringing the soles of your feet all the way together, and then catching hold of your ankles or the outer edges of your feet, bringing them as close together as you're able, and then drawing your heels actively in towards your belly button. You can gently press your inner thighs apart, again, increasing that line of tension as you draw your heels in. Take a couple deep breaths into the spaces you feel here. Soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Following this next breath all of the way out. And then just drawing your knees back together and take a couple of little circles in each direction. When you're ready, bring your feet down to the ground one at a time, setting up for a gentle bridge pose. Bring your arms down beside your body and just taking a couple of pelvic tilts first. Gently but firmly press your lower back down into the ground, almost like you're pressing yourself toward the top of your mat, and then let go of the pressing, allowing the natural curvature to come back into your spine, and possibly beginning to explore exaggerating it a little bit. Press your lower back firmly and gently down, and then let go of the pressing. Just one more time, just like that. Letting your head move organically with the movement through your spine. And then preparing for bridge. Make sure your feet are firm down to the ground. Arms down beside your body, firmly pressing your lower back down into the ground, and lead with your pubic bone and your hip points. You may need to adjust your head a little bit as your hips come up high, and remember to keep looking toward the ceiling or toward your own knees here. You have a lot of pressure on the cervical vertebrae. You can walk your shoulders down a little bit further away from your ears. Press into all edges of your feet. If you're having a hard time getting your hips lifted, squeeze your buttocks a little bit. See if you can find a bit more lift here. If your neck feels strong, you can lengthen your arms up toward the ceiling and even bring them out beside you or out behind you, coming a little higher onto the back of your neck and shoulders. Bring your arms back down beside your body, and then roll down as slowly as you can. Just rolling down one vertebrae at a time, or as closest to that as you can. Take a nice deep releasing breath in through your nose, all the way out through your mouth. And once again, pressing your lower back firmly into the ground, lifting your hips up high. Press into all edges of your feet. Make sure you're not gripping with your toes. Taking one more full breath here. And coming down as slowly as you can in between your shoulder blades. Drawing lower belly in towards your spine as you bring your mid back down toward the ground. And lower back all the way down. Bringing your arms to a T position beside you as you exhale, just letting your knees gently but heavily drop to the right side and turning to look to the left. Now you can stay right here. If there's a sweetness to this sensation today, you can bring your bottom foot, your right foot, on top of your left thigh, just adding a little extra weight to that line. Take one more releasing breath here, letting your legs be as heavy as possible. And then releasing your foot from your thigh and coming back into your center line. Deep breath in, and with your exhalation, let your knees drop to the left. Turning to look to the right. And again, if you wish to move deeper into sensation or just differently, you can bring your left foot, your bottom foot, to the top of your right thigh. Let gravity help you out with this, letting go of any strain or pushing. Follow this next breath all of the way out. And then releasing your foot from your thigh and coming back into your center line. When you're ready, rolling to the side that suits you the best. And coming all the way up. Making your way onto all fours, hands underneath of your shoulders, knees underneath of your hips. Now I'm a big believer in getting our little movers moving, as my dear friend and teacher Drew has taught me, so that our big movers can move more smoothly. So we're gonna focus a little bit on warming up some joints so that when we get into hips and shoulders, it makes more sense for the rest of our body. With your next inhalation, just tilting your tail up, drawing your chest forward, sliding your shoulders back. See if you can press down through the front of your ankles and your shins. Take a very deep breath in here, and with your exhalation, bring your chin in towards your chest, drawing your belly in towards your spine as you look towards your pubic bone. You can even come up onto the tips of your fingers if you want to explore a bit more space. Let your head be as heavy as possible. Coming back down onto the whole hand. And just finding a rhythm with your breath, in through your nose and out through your nose. And with your next inhalation again, arching your spine. And as you exhale, curling in towards yourself. Inhaling into cow posture. And exhaling into cat. Take one more full, complete breath with this. And we'll just revisit child's pose for a moment so you remember where it is. So child's pose is a great place to go when life is a little overwhelming, or your crazy yoga teacher is asking you to do things you'd rather not, or the burps, farts, and tears and laughter have gotten to be too much. And just bringing your buttocks back towards your heels and making sure that your head has a space to rest, either on the ground or on your hands. And you can come back there anytime you need to. From here, and again, working gradually, so working within your range of motion that's available to you and not doing anything that hurts. You're gonna bring your buttocks back towards your heels as far as you're able to. You may be able to walk your hands back And if you can walk your hands back, see if you can start to bring your thighs towards your belly. And then slowly rolling down through the front of your ankles, coming back to all fours, curling your toes under, and that might be where you stop, or bringing your buttocks back towards your heels. And again, building on this, you can walk your hands back and draw your tailbone in towards your pubic bone. And we're just gonna keep going back and forth with this a little bit, getting our feet more mobile, turning your toes away from you, buttocks towards your heels, possibly drawing thighs in towards your belly, and then coming down as slowly as you can through the front of your ankles, hands under your shoulders, curl your toes under. You can even kind of spread your toes out a little bit more, and then bringing your buttocks back towards your heels and tailbone towards your pubic bone. And taking a couple more rounds just like this. Now, if you are feeling more mobile here, as you draw your thighs in, careful not to lean back. You almost want to begin to lean forward. So you're able to come up higher onto the fronts of your feet. And as you curl your toes under, if you're wanting to work a little bit harder, we can start to draw thighs toward the belly and then lift your buttocks away from your heels. Slowly lowering back down. You can take one more full round of this in the way that best supports your body today. And then just making your way back onto all fours. You can curl your toes under, bring your knees a little bit further away from your hips, hands slightly forward from your shoulders, and making your way into a really soft downward dog. So by soft, keep your knees bent. You don't need straight legs. Your hamstrings will catch up when they're ready. Lifting your hips up high, stretching it way back. And then just bring your feet toward the outer edges of your mat. Slowly beginning to straighten your legs. From here, when you're ready, step to the top of your mat. Little steps or a giant hop. Bring your hands to the front of your shins. And I want you to bend your knees. Try this as an experiment. You do not need straight legs to get a hamstring stretch. So bring your hands to the front of your shins so you can press forward. Press down into your feet like you're trying to press your feet apart from each other. Lift and scoop up through your buttocks and draw your chest forward. Take another deep breath in and fold forward and down. Just catch hold of opposite elbows, extending your elbows down toward the ground. When you're ready, lifting all the way up to the top. And the hands back into center. Take a moment to come back into contact with the intention that you've set today. And take a deep breath into it. We'll move through a couple of half salutations to begin. On an inhalation, lifting your arms upward, possibly gazing up. And as you exhale, extend forward and down, especially for the first couple. Good idea to bend your knees as you fold forward, reducing the strain on your lower back. With an inhalation, glue your hands to your shins. So again, you have an anchor that you're pressing off of, drawing your sternum forward, fold forward and down. Press deep down into your feet again, like you're pressing your feet apart, and lift all the way back up to the top. And the hands back into center. And again, inhaling, lengthening upward, reach up. And exhaling, extend, forward fold. Again, bending your knees to protect your lower back. Inhaling, lengthening. And exhale, fold forward and down. Actively lifting up, like the air is heavy. Reach through your fingers. And the hands back into center. One more time, just like that. Lengthening upward, Let your exhalation draw you forward and down. Piking forward. Fold forward and down. And lift back up to the top. And hands back into center namaste. So we'll start to flow all the way through with some bells and whistles along the way. Lengthen up with your inhalation. And the exhaling, forward fold. And piking forward. Folding forward and down. Stepping back just to the top of your plank pose. Pressing forward onto the tips of your toes and bring your knees all the way down, first time out here, and lowering down to the ground, with or without grace. Grace can be kind of messy sometimes. Making your way into a baby cobra first, press into the tops of your feet, squeeze your inner thighs. From here, lengthen your arms out to the sides and begin to rotate from the top of your shoulder right out to your fingertips. Just starting to wake up your shoulders. Then reaching your arms out behind you and keep with the same motion, right from the top of your shoulders out to your fingers, like your whole arm is a paddle. Bring your hands back down beside your body, take a deep breath in, and make your way back into downward dog. So if you're still kind of waking up a little bit, you might want to come back to all fours first, and then make your way into downward dog. Check in with your foundation and the parts of your body in contact with the ground. Make sure your fingers are spread really wide. Get a little bit more weight into the base of your index finger, softer into your thumb. Don't worry about your heels touching the ground. Pay attention to the line from your wrist to your shoulder to your hip crease first, and then possibly beginning to straighten your legs. One more breath, and then stepping up. Pike forward with your inhalation. Fold forward and down, and lifting back up to the top. And hands into center. Take a deep cleansing breath. Again, inhaling up. And let your exhalation draw you forward and down. Piking forward with an inhalation. Fold forward and down. Step back top of your plank. Press forward a little bit and bring your knees down to the ground. And again, lowering all of the way down into Cobra. From Cobra, walk your hands out in front of you. Bring your hands wider than shoulder distance apart. Bring your chin in towards your chest slightly and then pull the floor towards you. Take one more full breath. And then making your way back to downward dog. You can shake your head out a bit. Shake out anything you don't need to hold on to in there today. One more full breath, pressing it back, lift your inner thighs, and then stepping back up to the top of your mat. Piking forward, fold forward and down. And lifting back up to the top. Hands back into center namaste. Again, lengthening upward with an inhalation. Let your exhalation draw you forward and down. And piking forward. Fold forward and down, step or hop back, top of your plank. Lowering all of the way down to the ground, preparing for baby cobra. And you can stay in baby cobra or walk your hands back, either palms down on your buttocks drawing inner elbows toward each other or interlacing your fingers, and extend your knuckles back, drawing the top of your chest forward. When you're ready, release your hands and make your way back into downward dog. From downward dog, yogi's choice, you can lift your right leg if you wish, but lift it mindfully, not just kind of swinging it up there. Lift, bring your leg parallel to the ground, and then step your right foot forward between your hands. Sometimes you have to hoof it up there. That's okay. You're gonna walk your left foot back as far as you can and bring your left knee down to the ground. Extra padding is always a good idea underneath of your knee, so you can fold your mat back onto itself, or even bring a blanket underneath of your knee. You can stay here, or bring your hands to your right thigh. Think again of drawing your tailbone in toward your pubic bone, so you don't over-exaggerate the flexible line in the lower back. And you can stay here, or bring your arms out to the sides, possibly reaching upward. Bring your hands back down to the ground and make your way back into downward dog. Lifting your left leg if you wish, and step your left foot forward. Walk your right foot back as far as you can, and bring your right knee back down to the ground. Always take the time to support yourself. If you need to pad underneath of your right knee, you can stay here, or bring your hands to your left thigh, and drawing tailbone towards your pubic bone. And again, either staying here or bringing your arms out through the sides and possibly reaching upward. Take one more full breath. And bring your hands back down to the ground and make your way back into downward dog. Again, lifting your right leg, and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. You bring your hands to the inside of your right foot and walk your left foot back as far as you can, just coming into a low lizard lunge, and bring your left knee down to the ground. Now, if you have the space, you may be able to come down to your forearms. If you kind of have the space, you can bring your block in. Think of drawing your sternum away from your belly button, so the bony part of your chest away from your belly. Drawing the crown of your head forward, softening through the front of your left thigh. And you can stay right here, or curl your right toes back towards you, and then drop your right knee to the right side. Again, not forcing that motion, but just letting gravity be your friend. You can stay right here, or shifting your weight into your left hand or left forearm, bend your left foot towards your buttock and reach back with your right hand. Take hold of what you can, or fake it, and then kick your foot away from you as you draw it in towards you. And look over top of your right shoulder. And then releasing your left foot, bring your right hand back down, and come back to the top of your plank pose. Lowering down to the ground in the way that best supports you, so you can bring your knees down or lower in chaturanga, and lifting into baby cobra or up dog, and make your way back to downward dog. Again, lifting your left leg. Stepping left foot forward to the outside of your left hand and walk your right foot back. Hands come to the inside of your left foot and bring your right knee down to the ground. Possibly making your way down onto your forearms or even bringing a block underneath of your elbows. Notice if you're looking at your own knee. Draw your gaze forward. Soften through the front of your right thigh. And you can stay right here, or see if you can curl your left toes back towards your shin and drop your left knee toward the left side. And again, try not to force that motion. Just let weight and gravity help you out here. And you can stay right here or shift your weight into your right hand and right forearm and kick your right foot towards your buttock. Reach back with your left hand. Take hold of what you can or fake it. And then kick your foot away from you as you draw it in. Look over your left shoulder. Take one more full breath here. And release. And make your way back to the top of your plank. Again, lowering down the way that best supports you and making your way either into cobra or up dog. And back to downward dog. Take one more full breath, pressing it back. And step, hop, jump, or fly to the top of your mat. Piking forward. Fold forward and down. And lifting back up to the top. And the hands to center. Again, take a deep releasing breath. Just in through your nose, out through your mouth. A little bit of Surya Namaskar B. Scoop the air from down low, inhaling into awkward pose. Now imagine like you're jumping off a big cliff. So you're not just using your back, you're using your legs. With your next exhalation, firming and straightening your legs, and fold forward and down. And piking forward. Fold forward and down and step back, top of your plank pose. Lower down in the way that best supports you. Lifting cobra or up dog and making your way back into downward dog. Yogi's choice, lifting your right leg if you wish. And stepping right foot forward, left foot flat. So a little thing about your alignment here. There's no perfect alignment. There's no one body doing this. But what we're looking for in alignment is stability first over flexibility. So if you look at the line of your front foot, the inside edge of your right foot, essentially the closest you ever want your feet is to line up with the back edge of your left foot. So that when you step your feet forward, they're hip distance apart, as opposed to coming into some ballet position. As you settle down into your hips, think of lengthening. Again, tailbone to your crown, lengthen your right arm forward and your left arm back. Soften your shoulders down. Reach your fingertips apart from each other. When you're ready, bring your left hand forward and down, step back, top of your plank, and lower down with grace and style. Lifting cobra or up dog, and making your way back into downward dog. Lifting your left leg if you wish. Left foot forward, right foot flat. Again, check in with your optimal alignment. And optimal alignment is going to allow you to feel steady. And lifting right arm up and left forward. Your gaze is over the middle finger of your forward hand. Take one more full breath here. And bring your right hand forward and down. And step back and flow through. We're going to move into pigeon on the right side. So drawing your right knee towards your right wrist, and then lengthening your left leg back. You can take a pillow or a blanket or a block and place it underneath of your right hip if you need to. And take a moment to settle into this instead of rushing through it. You look back and make sure that your left leg isn't like way over on the left side. Bring it into the center line. Lengthening away from your lower back. And you can stay right here or hinge forward. Again, making sure that your head has a place to land, either on the floor or on your hands. To increase sensation here, to shift it a little bit, if it makes sense in your body, think of hugging your right hip back as you draw your left thigh forward. And you can stay right here if you wish to take this in a different direction, likely a deeper direction. Coming all of the way back up, and bring your left leg forward. You bring your right shin parallel to the top line of your mat, and your left ankle on top of your right knee. You can shift your butt a little bit. I always find settling helps. Flexing through your heels and drawing back through the tops of your feet. And again, you can stay right here if it's a good stretch. Or think of hinging from the hip crease as you draw forward. You can walk your hands in front of you to help support. Staying as long through the spine for as long as you are able to here. As you extend into double pigeon, or what one of my favorite girls calls it, is fire log, because it's like stacking fire logs, one on top of the other. Again, you can rest your chin in your hands. You can stack your hands and let your head rest, or allow your head to come all the way down. Take a really deep breath here into the back line of your body. And then just slowly drawing back up, untangle your legs and windshield wiper your legs for a moment. And then making your way back to all fours or straight into downward dog. Moving onto your left side, draw your left knee towards your left wrist and lengthening your right leg back. Again, you can use a pillow or a blanket or a block if you need to place it underneath of your left hip, or allow your left hip to rest down. Check in and make sure your right leg is as close to the center line as possible, and lifting up and out of this first. You can stay right here or hinge forward, possibly bringing elbows down, or even forearms and forehead. Again, you can be here passively, just letting the stretch do the work for you in the position. You want to add a little bit of work Think of hugging your left hip back as you draw your right thigh forward. And you can stay right here if you want to shift things or explore the possibilities. Bring your right leg forward and bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. The more directly you stack knee to ankle and ankle over knee, the more honest of a hip stretch this is, as opposed to just twisting the ankle. You can bring your hands behind you, lifting and opening, or possibly hinge from the hip crease, extending forward. You can bring your chin into your hands. You can stack your hands like Lego blocks, or extend all the way over. And take one more full breath here. And then just slowly drawing all of the way back up. Bringing your feet toward the outer edges of your yoga mat and windshield wiper your legs. And when you're ready, lowering all the way back down to the ground. And draw your knees in towards your belly and lengthen your legs toward the ceiling. And just kind of like you're hanging your legs over a dock with some nice warm water under your feet. If it's difficult to keep your legs extended up, you can always take a soft fist under the edges of your buttocks just to help tilt the pelvic frame to allow your legs to extend more easily. This is legs up the wall, but without the wall, obviously. And legs up the wall is a wonderful pose for us all of the time, but particularly when we're feeling the effects of stress more deeply. It's a posture that on a very physical level helps to reduce kind of any inflammation or swelling in our toes, our feet, our ankles, our knees, even into our hips. It helps to bring the lower articulating portions of our back, the pelvis and the sacroiliac joints in balance. But more than that, and even better than that right now, it's like a tonic for our nervous system that helps it to drop down a few notches, allowing us to be in a place of responsiveness as opposed to reactivity. Take one more full breath here. Releasing your hands from under your back if they're tucked in there. And bring your knees back in towards your belly. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Sigh it out through your whole body. And bringing your feet down to the ground one at a time. Again, if your lower back is tender, just walk your feet toward the outer edges of your mat, or possibly extending your legs all of the way out. Taking a deep letting go breath, just letting go the effort of your practice and letting go of your practice breath. Allowing your body and your mind just the time to adjust, to come back into balance. I'll lead you through a guided relaxation, one that you can use yourself, one that you can use with your kids, with anybody that's having difficulty relaxing and resting. I'm going to move in a progressive sequence from your toes all the way up to your nose. And on an inhalation, you will be consciously tightening and contracting the area of the body we're drawing awareness to. And as you exhale, releasing, maybe even with an audible sigh or a yawn, and letting go of the holding. Bring all of your awareness to your toes and your feet. And as you inhale, scrunch up your toes, scrunch up your feet as tightly as you can. And with your exhalation, release the holding. Let your feet relax and wiggle out your toes. And then allow your feet to rest. With your next inhalation, drawing awareness into your calves and your knees and your thighs. And as you inhale, contract your legs. If your back feels strong, you might even lift your legs slightly, exaggerate the tension, and then let it go. Let your legs be heavy, soft, and relaxed. And drawing awareness into your buttocks and your tummy and your pelvis. As you inhale, scrunch up your buttocks, squeeze in your tummy, tighten the pelvic frame, exaggerate the tension, and then let it go. Noticing the difference as you settle back into space. Drawing awareness to the lower and the middle and upper back. See if you can isolate these places and spaces in your back. As you're inhaling, and as you exhale, let your back melt back into the ground. Drawing awareness into your fingers and your hands, your arms and your shoulders. As you inhale, scrunch your hands into fists. Maybe even scrunch your shoulders up around your ears. Exaggerate your tension. Pour all of it into this one. And when you're ready, let it go. Let your arms be heavy, uncurling your fingers, and drawing your shoulders maybe a little bit further away from your ears. And then drawing awareness into your facial muscles. And scrunch up your face like a raisin. As you inhale, scrunch up your eyebrows, your cheeks, your lips, your nose, and your ears, if that's possible for you. And when you're ready, yawn it out. And for your last directed breath, just find every muscle you've got from your toes to your nose. As you inhale, scrunching up your toes, your fingers, your legs, your face, maybe even lifting your arms and your legs slightly. And when you're ready to let go of your breath, let go of your holding, letting your whole body melt down into space. And staying here as long as feels comfortable for you. Allowing your body and your mind to absorb the benefits of your practice today. And when you do feel ready and rested and complete, take your time coming back into the rest of the world. Be gentle with yourself, just rolling to your side, and then coming up in your own time. And coming back into a space where you're a little bit more alert and aware. Perhaps even resting with your eyes closed for a few moments still. Essentially keeping the blinders on and the outside world on pause. Remembering as you move throughout your day to be gentle with yourself, to be compassionate, to understand that we are all undergoing an unprecedented time of unknowns. To be compassionate with the rest of the world, we need to learn how to truly be compassionate with ourselves first. I know you're doing a good job. Keep taking big, full, deep breaths. Keep appreciating the little things, the simple things. know that this too shall pass. And in the meantime, we're all in it together, one breath at a time. Thank you so much for joining me for practice today. And catch you at the Twisted Fish or twistedfish.ca or on the YouTube channel. And we'll see you soon. Namaste.